Hi there. Just a very short video just to say that perhaps many of you that have been following what's been happening, you may realise that it's been announced that Lucy Letby has changed her legal team, which sounds a very good idea to me. And it's going to be Mark McDonald, which is great. That's brilliant news. He's also been involved with some of the other cases of nurses, and I think he believes that they're probably all innocent, all these several nurses such as Colin Norris and Ben Geen and Victorina Chua, I believe, as well. And it's fantastic news that he's going to be representing Lucy Letby. There's a link I'll put below from the BBC. I'll just read a little bit of it. Lucy Letby has replaced her legal team, is planning a fresh appeal. Her new barrister, Mark McDonald, has told BBC's File on 4. So that's fantastic. I had heard elsewhere that the appeal from the trial of this year, which was the retrial of the attempted murder of child or baby K, is going to be handled by Ben Myers still. That's what I've heard. But Mr. McDonald, or Mark McDonald KC, as it says here in the BBC article, said that he plans to take her case to the Criminal Cases Review Commission to apply for it to be sent back to the Court of Appeal. And he's quoted as saying, Mark McDonald is quoted as saying here, "I knew almost from the start, following this trial, that there is a strong case that she is innocent," he said. He went on to say to the BBC, "The fact is, juries get it wrong, and yes, so do the Court of Appeal. History teaches us that. It certainly does. It certainly does." And then it just reiterates that there's an inquiry going on into the NHS's handling of the case. Well, what is the case? That's the point. And that starts on the 10th of September, which is, when is that? So next week, isn't it? Next Wednesday, isn't it? Right, so just seeing if there's anything else here. Oh yeah, Mark McDonald also represents Benjamin Geen, a nurse who was jailed for life in 2006 for murder, he's been convicted of murdering 2 of his patients and poisoning 15 others. That's the point, I think the system is horrified by the idea of these injustices, these miscarriages of justice being overturned. Certainly both the case Lucy Letby, but also obviously of Ben Geen and Colin Norris. It says here, Ben Geen's application to appeal against his convictions was denied by the Court of Appeal in 2009. See, it's what they seem to routinely do. They just say no. They just say no. That's why that system's got to change. But it doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to change. I'm not going to go on a rant about it again, but it's by design that it's there to protect the system as a whole. And if that means ensuring that guilty verdicts of innocent people, the miscarriages of justice are upheld and continue, then they're more than happy to do that. We had an insight into that, and it's only because he was caught speaking about it and someone reported it, that Lord Denning saying, that better that the Birmingham 6 stay in prison than the public lose their trust in the justice system. Not even getting the horrific irony of that if you have to do injustices to keep the trust, then that isn't trust, is it? It's false trust. It's falsely acquired trust, because it's wrong. Didn't have the heart, the wit, the mind to even understand what he was saying there, really. that it would be a good thing to keep someone or a group of people innocent in prison in order to maintain the trust of the public. The sickness of that kind of mind, I believe, is almost wholly, it's very highly prevalent, and almost it completely dominates this so-called justice system. It completely dominates it, that mind. There are exceptions, of course, like Mark McDonald, thank God, and a few others. But in large part, if they're being fed by that system, then they want to uphold it at all costs. And they don't want to say or do anything that suggests that it's a basket case, which is what it is. And it's not, maybe basket case is the wrong, no, because it's by design, it's an attitude. It's an attitude of saying, oh, well, we don't like to be seen to be wrong. But it's because they don't care. It's trying to get to the foundations of why you would be like that. It's because they don't actually care whether someone's innocent or guilty. It's a game to them. It's a job, it's a game, it's a bit of play acting in large part. Not for everyone, as I say, there are exceptions. But in the vast majority, and certainly the people that administrate it from high up and ensure that it stays the way it is, it's just a clever, posh game that they've invaded and control. They control it. They control it, and it's their game. It's their game. That's the point. It shouldn't be a game at all. Obviously, it's not a game. But it is their game, and it's nothing to do with the public. It's nothing to do with the ordinary person. It's their world. It's their world, and it's their territory. So that's why you get so many of these. I'll take a break from the Twitter because I just get too emotionally upset. I get sort of talking about it with someone this morning in a group that. A friend this morning with a group that it just gets to you emotionally, and just can find yourself quite affected by it. I think it's my personal view is that the people that are seemingly morally outraged, that people are questioning the convictions of Lucy Letby and these other cases from the past. And they say, oh, what about the victims? They don't care. I don't think they care at all. It's something else driving them. They're supporting a system. They're getting something out of it in one way or another. They're either getting something out of it professionally, or they're getting something out of it. It's feeding them in some kind of narcissistic or emotional way to keep the story of the serial killer going, the quote-unquote serial killer going. That's what it is. And for certain other ones, they've hitched their so-called professional life to it, as with Judith Moritz of the BBC with her book, and Liz Hull and co with the podcasts. They don't want to be seen to be wrong and completely wrong. They'd rather somebody innocent was in prison than them seen to be wrong. That's their priority. That's the priority. It says here that the last bit of that BBC thing, the CCRC then denied 2 applications in 2013 and 2015 to send Ben Geen's case back to the Court of Appeal. And they're there by design to keep saying no, The structures of this is, I keep repeating it, it's set up like this. Structurally designed like this. It's not people searching their hearts and minds and or even logically. It's not even logically. It's all based on these arcane systems and very specious forms of argumentation as to why somebody shouldn't be given an appeal. If they can make it fit the process to deny it, that's all they're interested in. The process that they're following is not rooted in truth. It's not rooted in logic. It's not rooted in any kind of human care about fairness or justice. It's just rooted in itself. It's rooted to protect itself, obviously, and to serve. Who does it serve? Who does it? It serves those. It serves certainly those people working within it. It feeds them. It serves them. The judges, the barristers, in large part. You know, as I say, I keep saying there's the odd exception. People of principle. What it's not rooted in and what it's not founded upon is principle. It's founded on process, and the process isn't founded on principle. It's not founded on what the word principle means to me. That is, and what it means to the vast majority of people is like, Jesus, well, God, look at this. So when, for example, to concretize it, when Shu Lee comes to the appeal, request for leave to appeal hearing, the second one this year, and then the Court of Appeal response is, oh, well, you should have done that at the trial. It's too late now. That's essentially what it is. Oh, you should have done it before. You know, you can never do it now. You should have brought him before. You made that mistake. Therefore, Lucy Letby is not new evidence. I don't care whether if it's determining that a major aspect of the prosecution's case was completely wrong and basing it on this paper in a completely incorrect and just a completely wrong way, you know, for all the reasons given before in other videos and by Shu Lee on the day himself, that the way those assessments were made by Evans, diagnosis by exclusion and the description of the rashes, etc., all that stuff. So the Court of Appeal just go, well, you should have said it before. You can't say it now. Can't ever say it now. So that somebody has to be in prison who's innocent for the rest of their life because somebody didn't say something before. So I just ask you, you know, and I know if anyone with any common sense will just go, that's mad. It's not just mad, it's evil. And that's why I say it's not based on any principles other than its own game, its own processes, which it is deemed to be superior. And they're not, they're inferior. They're inferior minds, and there's no heart there at all. There's no heart there, there's no soul there at all. And there are profoundly inferior minds orchestrating and administrating these so-called systems of justice. They've been created by inferior minds to protect the system itself and to protect the establishment, which is another aspect of the broader system. It's a major piece in a puzzle of a system, isn't it? And it's protecting itself, and it's protecting the rest of the puzzle of the system, which is might is right. Might is right. They've got the might to say it, to say no appeal. They've got the power to say it. But whereas we're told and we know in truth, right is might, truth is might. But they invert it. Systems invert it. I've gone off on a rant again, but that's all right, isn't it? It's just that's what I mean. But I think that's great that Mark McDonald is going to be representing Lucy Letby and her family, and that's very, very positive. Just thinking about, you know, you can just waste all your energy with these vampires that, again, don't care about the truth or justice, and they just want to keep saying, oh, you weren't at the trial. It's just specious, silly, stupid arguments. They know they're wrong, but they're wedded to, I don't know. I don't even care what they think. I don't care. We know the people that And it is a knowledge. It's a kind of instinctive knowledge that we as human beings, some of us, not all, either it's never been there or it's been destroyed in someone or it was never there in the first place. This instinctive sense of right and wrong, this instinctive sense of fairness. And just that example I gave with the Shuley and the Dr. Shuley and the appeal hearing. Oh, this is what the system is saying. Well, you should have done it before. No, you can never do it. Now somebody's in prison for life. Oh, no, we're not going to listen anymore. Well, we can't. The system says, look, it says on the form, this is how we've been trained, look. Well, if you didn't say it at a certain point in time, you can never say it. In other words, what does that mean? Let's crystallise that. If the truth wasn't spoken in a particular time and place, in a particular way, in a particular forum, then it can never exist in the future. It can never have any potency or power in the future. That's what they're saying. To affect reality. Well, to make reality, to establish reality. Well, the reality's always been there. It's like that thing, I remember Andrew Malkinson when he was on the steps after being completely vindicated, and he said, it's this idea, I don't want to misquote it, but the gist of it was, I haven't been found innocent, I was always innocent. You know, I haven't been shown to be innocent. I've always been innocent. I haven't been shown at this moment in time to be innocent. I've always been innocent. It's the same with Lucy Letby. It's not that, you know, she's going to eventually be, even though it's not on the obligation is not on the person to be found innocent, or to prove innocence, I should say. But she's always been innocent. Always been innocent. So the truth goes back through time and it goes forward through time, but this Court of Appeal isn't interested in that concept. It's, well, if you didn't establish that in our forum at a very particular time under our arcane and weird set of rules with a bloke with a wig on falling asleep up there above you, then the truth doesn't matter in the future, doesn't matter now, but it always matters. And that's what these people who just keep saying, but the system, but we did it. We went through 2 trials. Oh, it was 8 months. Oh, it was 10 months. Oh, 2 juries. So what? So what? Don't care if it went on for 4 years. The right is might. And that's what has to be made manifest. And I think with Mark McDonald there, I think that's just definitely a big help. Very worried about the CCRC again, as you see with in the case of Ben Geen, is that they're there to make it incredibly difficult, and in some cases impossible, for the truth to be. They're there for that, to make it impossible for the truth to be known, for justice to be done, and for people to be treated fairly. We're living in a world of inversions, of things being named this and being named that, the courts of justice, but it's actually, often it's an inversion. And that's the whole system, that's the system as a whole. Anyway, I thought it was only going to be a couple of minute video, but I want to start. But that's really positive. That is what I've heard about the request for leave to appeal for the attempted murder case that was tried this year, that Ben Myers is handling that, but I don't know how that fits in anyway. Anyway, that's it. Thank you. Take care. Bye.